Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, X. From a cold hill country, it's got to be 50 degrees outside and windy. So for down here in the South, that's pretty dang cold. I know you guys. I know it's a lot worse up north. I hope everyone had a great holiday. I know I sure did. Jackson and we had a really good walk and we ate some turkey and some stuff. Jackson, what do you want? I think he wants a treat. Jackson, do you want this? Come here. You got to come over here. Okay, come here, Jackson. Hang on. You want this treat? You got to come up here. You got to come up here. Good boy, Jackson. You're such a good dog. Dan said, "Good morning, Jackson." Good morning, Dan. All right, so let's see what is going on in the market. Can't believe the CME had a data center shut down. I mean, I can believe it, but go figure. All right, man, it's a good look for Bitcoin. When was this spike? What time was that? That was a half hour ago or something. Spiked all the way to 93. My Lord. I have a bad setting on here. Let's switch this back to the 50. And let's put this on that. All right, but in any event, man, that's a good look. We're reverting back to mean a little bit. I mean, got out over our skis. Where the heck is this other thing right here? All right. Got out over our skis. And in fact, you can see we turned around right at the low volume node. That happens a lot. But anyway, and then we reverted right back to a high volume node, a mean. Hopefully we'll take back this high volume node in 95 soon. Maybe this weekend, who knows? We might have to go lower to find more buyers if we do. I mean, 89, they might be there around 89.9, and they might be there around 88, where we have gaps in the order flow. We'll see. We shall see. We might just balance around here around 91, 92. All right. Let's check out the old SPY, see what happened with the SPY. Now, we had an up gap that's there from Friday that's still alive. A bullish gap that's still alive, especially after a full day. That's definitely bullish pressure on the market. That's the first bullish gap we've had in a while. So I would call that an improvement, to be sure. Let's just go ahead and throw this on the chart. This might be a good dip buying opportunity if we get back here. We'll see. I mean, if you believe the market's still bullish. Let's see here. Taking back this descending trend line was really cool. I like to see that. I need some caffeine. I was up late working on videos. I worked a bunch yesterday. I hope you guys watched I had a new video last night on strategy changes at ULTY. And anyway, I thought it was a pretty good video. Appreciate you guys that watched it. If you guys haven't yet, maybe go check it out today. All right, so that's SPY. Let's check out the Qs. But then also I'm working on a new series, which is my morning ULTY blocks, ULTI and K-yield video. And I stayed up late recording that. And that one came out this morning. And that one is much improved. I need to get the time down. It's too long. I'm trying to make that like a 10-minute update. But in any event, now this is a good look right here. Took back this descending trend line. We're nowhere close to it. There's an open gap left behind also the same spot as the SPY. I'm not going to draw this one in. It's fine. I mean, a bearish case is maybe we got ahead of ourselves and we'll revert to mean on this one. There's at 601 or something. We were trading in that range for a while, Monday and Wednesday of last week. And then we had the NVIDIA situation. that it was a bull trap on this end and a bear trap on this end. But in any event, for now, the bulls have won. It looks like maybe it wasn't a bull trap in the grand scheme of things. Looks like it was more of a bear trap. It was a temporary bull trap turned into a bear trap for now. For now, anyway. All right. Let me show you what in case anyone didn't get a chance to see the morning show. This is the graphic that powers the morning show. We can see right here ULTI or Y from YieldMax is down to 1.39 billion. ULTI is up to 6.5. I can't believe K Yield only has 4 3/4. I did my part. I bought some. Maybe I need to buy some more. That thing, out of these 4, in the time that they've been out, K Yield is ahead, and you can tell that right here. Here's the total return. K Yield's only. They're all down because the market sucked. Even the indexes are down. Everything's down. Even Chippy's down. So, but K Yield is down less, and K Yield is even down less than WPay. WPay isn't really part of the diversified divas because they don't switch stocks in and out. Like these other 4, I'm trying to cover them because they use sophisticated option strategies and they're able to switch stocks in and out as much as they want. Whereas WPay is kind of based on an index. There's nothing wrong with these. In fact, the ones that aren't switching stocks in and out are doing better. Look at QLDY from Defiance, but it's based on an index. So it's there for comparison purposes, but I'm not sure. It might not be the best one. We'll see. These ones that are based on the broader indexes won't do as well in a pullback. In a bull market. Just making sure there's none of you guys texting me. All right, so let's check this other stuff out. But let's refresh this data. Now let's look at the daily returns. On a daily return basis, LFGY is doing great, as is blocks. LFGY could honestly be included in these down here, but because they do switch stocks in and out, but it's in there for comparison purposes. They switch stocks in and out, but they use a boring covered call spread strategy. Nothing exciting. These other ones switch stocks in and out and can basically use any option strategy they want. In any event, they're all up on a one-day basis. This is great. ULTY from YieldMax is up 3/4 of a point, and ULTI from Rex shares is up 3/4 of a point as well. K Yield is up 1.4. Heck yes, K Yield. Blocks is bloxing. It always does. I have on my blocks hat. It's going to be a blocks Friday. It's been a blocks week. Poor old GPTY is down a little bit. They have a lot of AI stuff, something in their portfolio must be down. All right. Yesterday they dropped they added Alcoa, Analog Devices, Teradyne, ULTY did, and Southern Copper, and they dropped these other ones where they cut their holdings. This ought to say Rex. I need to talk to my assistant. My assistant gets ULTI and ULTY mixed up. But anyway, ULTI from Rex shares added or dropped Cypher, Coinbase, and MicroStrategies, and added Bloom Energy and another energy company in bullish. In any event, watch that morning report if you like this kind of stuff. I go into the options, and in fact, I forgot to do that this morning. I took the time last night to save all the option strategies that ULTY is doing. Let's take a look at them. So they put these option strategies on Wednesday. Here's their covered strangle collar is what I'm calling this. But it's a covered strangle, actually this one's not collarized because it has unlimited loss on the downside. Whatever. They do all kinds of different strategies on this one. They're up big on this one, so that's the good news. This is based on gold, and they're up they made a credit, but not only did they make a credit, the trade's also up. So now it depends on when they sell it and stuff, if they finish up, but Anyway, so that's the gold trade. Then they have what's ADI? I always forget, advanced devices or analog devices, something like that. Anyway, this trade's killing it. They're almost maxed out on their upside. This is a colorized covered strangle. A covered strangle collar is what I'm going to start calling this. Anyway, the covered strangle collar is working out well for these guys. When they brought in a huge credit, that $355,000 comes to you in the form of a check if you hold shares in this. That's the part they paid the check with, but at the same time, they still need the stock to go up. If the stock goes up, the entire trade's more profitable. But they pay the yield with the credit, whether they lose money or they make money, and all of them do this. And that's why covered call ETFs almost always lag the underlying. You know, it doesn't matter if they're colorized or whatever; they almost always lag the underlying over a long enough time frame. Now, that may not be the case on lightning spread strategies. The lightning spread's a brand new thing, but this is basically a covered call strategy. It's a variation on it. So let's see what else. Well, these guys are killing it. And then Teradyne. I was tired and I didn't put in the exact contract number, but on a one contract basis, this is what they have. So they brought in a $557 credit times however many contracts they have, fully capped over the call strike. They can only lose about 20% on this position, and this is about 5% of the portfolio. So if Teradyne drops 50%, if Teradyne drops 100%, whatever, they're going to be out 20%. But remember, it's only 5% of their portfolio, so 20% times 5% is 1%. So this position, at the most it can cost the ETF is 1%. All right. And then we have this Southern Copper trade. And I did put in the exact contracts on this one. And this thing is up $205,000 if they took it off right now. It can make money if it keeps going up. This thing doesn't expire till December 19th. So they could easily, hopefully ride Southern Copper up another 7% and turn this into a $1.9 million winner. But whatever the case is, they're going to pay the yield to people who are lucky enough to have shares in this badass ETF with this $210,000, regardless of how this turns out. So, but hopefully it'll turn out well. This right here determines your distribution, like I said, and this, whether this goes up or down, this controls the NAV price of the fund. If that's why in a bullish market, these funds do better because these are bullish bets. In a bearish market, these funds do worse. And they have the double whammy of not only do they do worse, but the credit that the covered call generated, that's a cushion, gets paid to you. So they're out the fund's out 210,000. Then on top of that, if they have a trade that loses 3.8 million, that's NAV depletion, and that's the way it works. You just want the market to go up. A lot of people just can't get that. I got some trolling comments on my YouTube video, and a lot of people just don't. I don't think they understand this, but that's fine. I know it doesn't apply to any of you guys in here. Shocking announcement from Tom Lee. I don't get. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're set for a really strong rally into year. Yeah, shocking announcement. I wonder if he's all right. Somebody go check on Tom Lee. He's usually so bearish ordinarily. It's probably somebody compromised him. I bet the people at the Bitcoin maxis probably, have taken his dog captive and are threatening to hurt it if he doesn't come out and say something bullish about Bitcoin. Absolutely. That is very shocking. Mark's here. Mark is here. Thank you for being here, Mark. There's 28 others of you guys here, 26 besides Mark and Dan. But yeah, Dan, I was really proud about the graphic, but I know this is what you meant also, but more so than the graphic, I like how it updates in real time. I figured out how to link spreadsheets to anyway. I've just begun to fight on this. Wait till tomorrow when this shows how much the individual stock is up or down, and then wait till it shows and multiplies how much the stock is up or down times the weight. and it shows the contribution to the overall fund, how much it's contributing or detracting from the fund's performance. This report's going to get a lot better, and all my reports are. I spent a lot of time fixing it this weekend. And actually, this graphic, I need to talk to my graphic designer. I mean, it's all right, but we're gonna work on that. That doesn't need to be so big and stuff. But in any event, yeah, thank you for the compliment, Dan. I've been working my butt off. All right, so let's look at some other stuff. Let's go over here and let's look at the old index buffer report. This is still based on the old graphic system, and this I need to bring this one into the 21st century. But I still do like to look at this daily change though. Here, the other graphic, as good as it is, they need to incorporate something like this where you can look at every day and every fund we follow in the diversified divas plus their counterparts, and you can see, heck yeah, it's a good day, but nothing like Wednesday. More like Monday right now. A little bit better than Monday, not as good as Wednesday, but maybe by the end of the day it'll be like Wednesday, or maybe it'll look like last Friday, which was a tremendous day. But in any event, okay, index buffer. This one's going to be brought into the 21st century by next week also. But for now, let's just look at this. Let's see if feed and 5E are doing the feed and 5E are doing their feed and 5E thing. That's what concentration does. Good on the way up, bad on the way down. We're going up, so feed and 5E are outperforming on the way up because they're concentrated. Or that's a big factor in it. It also matters which ones they have. I stopped following those guys. That's by far YieldMax's worst fund, in my opinion. I mean, it does what the prospectus says, but I had higher hope. It didn't meet my expectations. Let's say that. I know that ULTY didn't meet a lot of people's expectations because they want growth investments. But in the same way, I was thinking this would be an investment that can capitalize on the momentum of some of these stocks and try to get in the ones that are hot at any given time. But it's just been a dog. Feed and 5E have been dogs. Anyway, all right. Well, let's see how everything else is going. SPY-T is underperforming a little bit, but look at this. XDT from Roundhill. That's a good fund, and it's outperforming the index. T-SPY is a really good fund, also outperforming the index. Both of those funds, T-SPY and XDTE, benefit from overnight gaps, and we did have a small overnight gap, so that usually helps those guys out. Let's see what else we have. JEPI looking good, outperforming the parent. GPIX is a good one also. I was talking to a subscriber or viewer about GPIX this weekend, or I think in the comments somebody was saying how much they like GPIX, and I have no argument against GPIX or GPIQ. They're good. They are good ones. Look at old SEPI. Heck yes, SEPI. Now, SEPI's basically the similar strategy to LFGY for YieldMax or to blocks. But blocks is ahead of SEPI. But let's see how SEPI compares to LFGY. The thing is, though, LFGY is a little bit ahead. LFGY takes more risk. They have similar companies, but LFGY sells options in the weekly time frame instead of the monthly time frame. SEPI's more steady, pays a little less yield. No one would ever call LFGY steady, but it does pay more yield. But SEPI's more steady compared to LFGY. Then we have ULTI. We've already looked at that. That looks really good. WPay right there. YMAX is right there, up 1 point. ULTY doing well, up 63 basis points. I never really look down here too much unless something stands out. Good job, Max, getting salty a week ago, or I guess it's 2 weeks now. Or when was it? It seems like, man, I don't know. Anyway, great job, Max. Well, hopefully I have a lot more blocks and other things in K-Yield and ULTY. So, oh, well, let's see. That could come in handy again. We'll see. All right. YieldMax buffer report. So in YieldMax land, we have Palti outperforming the parent. Great job. Babo outperforming the parent. We like to see that. A lot of good performance, like AIYY catching like 90% of the upside. Look at this. AMSI has the parent tied, or Well, it's behind 1 basis point. Anyway, as far as underperformance versus the parent, we have GUI. GUI's had a heck of it. GUI's just taking a breather. And Dizzo's too woke, or Disney's too woke. Anyway, I'm just joking. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about? I feel like I've been talking a bunch just because I've been making videos. Heather Flynn, I believe you are a first-time commenter, or at least I've never noticed you before, but I appreciate you leaving a comment. You love your ULTY. Yes, definitely not for everybody. I love mine, but just to be honest, I loved it more about this summer. But anyway, it's but hopefully it's going to be back, and hopefully the change will help. We'll see. We shall see. But thank you so much, Heather. Appreciate your nice comment. Kay is in the house as well. QLDY. What's FTW mean? I see that all the time. QLDY. I thought it means for what it's worth, for what it, or something. But that's not it. Anyway, I see that all the time. I never know what that is. And also Froggy puts in the comments. I don't know if Froggy's here. He puts in the comment GG, but it's usually towards the end. Does that mean Froggy's telling me he's got to go? I think GG means got to go, but I'm not sure what FTW means. Oh, for the win. Of course. Okay. Good to know. It's hard to teach, I mean, I'm a Gen Xer and I'm not into, I don't understand meme culture. And what I use a bunch, and I've used it for years, is the Urban Dictionary. Whenever I don't know what something means, I've used this for 15 years. I'd hear something and misunderstand what it means and go to the Urban Dictionary. It's perfect for Gen Xers and boomers. Anyway, all right. Hey, Mark. Yeah. So Heather, you've been watching for a while, just catching lives on your day. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I bet a bunch of people have days off today. I mean, yeah, probably do. So I'm going to try to get some video content out for you guys today. As soon as I get out of here, I'm going to for sure get this GX video out. GIAX has redone their everything. I'm going to have that video out by noon. And then I don't know if I'm going to, and I guess we'll have an afternoon show. I mean, I'm trying to think if we need to have an afternoon show or not. I don't know. I'll do it if I feel like it. But I mean, you guys probably want to go shopping and stuff. I mean, so I'll probably do an afternoon show. So the afternoon show will probably be like at 2 or 3 instead of 4 or 5 like usual. But as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to get this video on GX made and get it out. And I have some other stuff I need to get out as well. All right, so let's do this. Let's look at some stocktools.app. Now I have an affiliate code here, and stocktools.app /Max. Let's see. And there's a lot of cool things in here, but I've been using the income ETF analysis almost every day. And you can select your group of payers, but I just selected everything. But you could say we could just compare, basically the guy that made this copied me. He copied my buffer report. He just did it a million times better, but he made a real buffer report. So anyway, let's see how things are moving today. All right, let's just look at a one-day result and see what is going on, what I've missed. Okay. Well, do you look at that MST? I was talking trash on MST this weekend, but I always use MST as an example when I'm trying to point to an ETF that is excessively volatile, excessively unstable. This one has 1/8 the stability of the broader market. meaning it's 8 times as volatile by the way I measure it. MSTW, now this one, not as unstable, but this one, can be a little bit crazy too, but heck, it's doing a great job today. I'm really liking these W funds. I don't have enough courage to get them, but I own them through WPay. If I did, I would get the wrong ones. I'd buy the wrong ones. Just like I bought AMD in December 1st or December 12th of last year. It was at the exact high. And by March, I bought blocks, or, it was called XYZY at the time, I think. Well, I forget, or was it? Anyway, and I'm terrible at picking, but I like to just get the whole index, and I have all of these. So I have exposure to MSTW, CYW. The W funds are really, really great on up days. BITX, I have some of this in my portfolio. I've also made the good decision to buy the dip on Bitcoin at about 105 2.5 weeks ago. I thought it was the dip. It looked like the dip. Or I bought maybe when they touched the trend line at 101 or something. Bought the dip, right? Well, hadn't worked out so far, but hopefully this thing will be back. And it pays a huge yield, and the yield helps too. And so, all right. And it's a weekly payer, and I've been dripping. So even though the price has been down, the payment's gone back into the thing. So hopefully as Bitcoin recovers, BITX will be a good one. But that's from a friend of the channel, Matthew Tuttle, manages that one. Speaking of Matthew Tuttle, I'm reviewing one of his funds that he has coming out. That hopefully will also be out today after I get the GX one out. I think GX has more broad appeal, so I'll do that one first. I don't know if any of you guys like GX, but I would imagine there's some of you guys that probably do. All right, so then we look at MS2. That one from Rex is good. Not quite beating the parent, but they only sell options on half the. That's good. They only sell options on half the portfolio, but and they lever the other half of the portfolio, but it's half the portfolio that's levered. So sometimes it doesn't beat the parent, but it usually gets a really good result of a really good mix of risk and reward. Look at old Maxi. Is Maxi still, but didn't Maxi used to be quarterly pay? I think now it's gone to monthly, but it needs to be weekly, right? Look at CO2, man. Rex needs to come out with the fund of funds. And I would buy that. I would love to have CO2, MS2, but not have to worry about them myself. Just buy a basket of however many of those there are. Look at this thing, BTGD. I have David, the principal from that company, scheduled to come on the show sometime in December. So I guess I don't have him scheduled yet. We've spoken on the phone. We'll see. But that should be good too. They have a new line of products coming out that are going to be very interesting. Not sharing the screen. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, of course not. Hey, but thank you very much. I'm sure that was Dan. Was that Dan or Mark? Yeah. I got you. But anyway, so you guys, luckily I was narrating it. But so yeah, MS2 just killing it, beating the parent. MSTW looking great. But anyway, so these are all that we've missed. MS2, Maxi right there. We were talking about that. CO2, BTGD. That's David from Quantify is going to be on soon. David invited me and a bunch of other influencers to Costa Rica, but we have a new grandbaby in the family, and we're kind of having a family reunion at Christmas. And we have family coming in from all over the place, and so I want to be there before Christmas and after Christmas. I'm going to go home for a few weeks in December. Right at the time of that, it just didn't work out. I would have loved to go to Costa Rica. I've never been to Costa Rica. All right, Dan. Yeah, thanks for the heads up on that. I do that sometimes. Look at this. But I haven't been doing that as much as I used to, have I? I've been doing a lot better. All right. Dan's the whole reason I have the second screen. Or Dan was the one. Dan was the one that talked me into getting the second screen. Asked why I didn't have one. It was just because I needed an adapter, and Dan had an adapter and hooked me up with one. But anyway, I appreciate that, Dan. This second screen is life-changing. Is absolutely life-changing. But hang on here. So But what I need to do is get this other screen on so I can see you guys talk. Hey, we got John here. John's a Texan. I like my Texans. Yeah, I know it, Heather. But anyway, that happens to you. If you've watched my show, you know that happens at least once a week. It used to happen like 3 times a week to me. Anyway, all right. Mark, my Roundhill weeklies have been doing well, although this week's distribution are a bit lower, and I think that's because of the total return swap. I think when the market's down, the total return swap doesn't provide the level of income that maybe a option selling strategy would. But the good news is on the way up with this one, and I know Mark knows that. The good news is on the way up, the total return swap doesn't really impede the upside too much, and pays a little dividend. So yeah, I am now. Mark is smarter than me for sure, and braver, probably better looking also. But in any event, but he owns AMDW, so he buys the buys the individual stocks from here. I'm too big of a chicken, so I just have WPay. But Mark has some WPay too. Yeah, no, I hear you, Dan. I was just joking. All right, you're in your 30s and you use Urban Dictionary all the time. I'm trying to think when I discovered Urban Dictionary. I mean, I remember I remember the first time I heard people talking about a hoopty. What's a hoopty? I knew it had something to do with a car, but what does that come from? Well, Urban Dictionary gives you the whole thing. I mean, that was like 15 years ago, and with anything, I mean, you can, anything you want to know. I love Urban Dictionary. All right. I haven't used it in a while yet. I mean, in a while lately, but I used to use it all the time. All right. So what else do I have to show you guys, you folks? I guess we could look back at the market. Let's see if Bitcoin's recovered a little bit. I kind of didn't like that little price spike, but hopefully it's just checking back to the previous. I mean, just checking on stuff. I thought I fixed this where I put it on the right time frame, but I guess I haven't yet, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Let's look at my pros versus Joes indicator, because this time frame is meant for my pros versus Joes. So this is a ratio of the VIVX, which is the volatility of volatility. It's like a third order derivative. And the VIX is kind of a second order derivative. It's the volatility of the SPX. So I think that's right. But anyway, when both moving averages are red, and the ratios below this line, the caution light is on, and it's definitely been on the second half of November. Now that was improving a little bit, but the last time the caution light was on, or the red light was on, was February 21st, and that was a great time to be cautious. But and when, by the same token, whenever the ratio's above the line and both moving averages are green, happy days are here again. Go sell all the puts you want to, right? No, I'm just joking. It can't predict the future, but it just shows you. It could just show you that if there's hedging pressure coming into the market. But yeah, right here, the last time both lines were green, and the ratio is largely above the line. That was a face ripper. That was June, July, August. But then we got a little caution signal in mid-October, and we dipped a little bit. That caution signal didn't help. It gave the signal after the dip. Like I say, it doesn't always work. But then we got another caution signal right here, the 4th of November. And then we went into the red light zone the 12th of November. And sure enough, that we had a pretty nice little sell-off there afterwards. So we keep an eye on that every day also. All right. So I guess that's about all I got for you guys, unless you guys have something you want to talk about. I'd be happy to stick around and talk about it. We got Red Sock here. Hey, Red Sock, what's up? What is up, Red Sock? Like I say, I'd be happy to stick around here and talk. But so I watched my video last night, and I told you guys I don't like reading a script. I'm not great at reading scripts. I like to speak off the top of my head and just have a conversation. But I was noticing, I mean, I can't believe how much I say I know a lot of people do, and I know there's AI that can cut out the ums. But when I do the GX video, I'm gonna try to consciously not say or and I also need to quit saying anyway. I say or anyway when I'm nervous and I think I've run out of stuff to say, but I just need to say nothing. So I'm going to work on that. I just did it anyway. But those are my goals for today, to become a better presenter. All right, December Instinct. Max OG stands for. Oh yeah, I know that. You're just joking, right? Or I mean that. No, but that is like something I would look up. What happened to me is I was in college and I was in a fraternity, and then I got married after college, and I hung around with that style of those types of people. But then after my divorce, a lot of those people in my previous social group, weren't so I lost touch with them. So then I made friends with some younger folks, some millennials. And then I had to figure out a whole new way of talking. I mean, I started playing a lot of video games. I started dressing younger. I think a lot of guys do that after a divorce or whatever. But anyway, and yeah, that was about 15 or it's been 20 years ago now that I had to use the Urban Dictionary to keep up with what the kids were saying. All right. Yeah, thank you, Leatherface, on the Alti vids. Yeah, I get a lot of people that hate it and are not shy about it in the comments, but that's fine. I mean, I tried to answer most of my comments this last time. I mean, even the ones that, I get that it's not for everybody, and I get that. I get that. What's SIG? I don't get what SIG is. SIG. Is that an ETF or something? Oh no, is that millennials for the win? Absolutely. All my friends now after my divorce, it's like I aged backwards. So in 2005, I was actually 39, but I started acting like I was about 29 and hanging out with people that were 25, 20, a generation younger than me. So Leatherface said, I would predict they would need to drop their yield from about 80 to 40 to remain NAV stable. So yes. You're a Kappa Sig, Brett? I was an ATO at Oklahoma, and I really enjoyed my time. I didn't know it. It wasn't because of me. I don't know how I got in. I wasn't like this, but that was the most well-connected fraternity on campus at that time. In fact, my pledge brother is now president of the entire college at OU, but he's always been that type of guy. Even when he was in college, he was always just a natural born leader and just always had his act together, smart. Anyway, but every time I watch an OU game, I see him down there on the sidelines. But I never would have imagined that some kid I met when I was 18 and 19 years old that I used to drink beer with, that it would be the president of the college. But if any of them would have happened, it would have happened to this kid. But all my pledge brothers are not just him, and then the rest of them are own their own businesses and I had a really successful college time, but in any event, all right. Dan says that's the one thing that drives him crazy a little bit about the Roundhill swap divs. They are really all over the place. It feels, yeah, the dividends are. I think the way it works. I didn't make a video on this, but when a fund sells premium and the market craters, generally the volatility goes up, and lots of times they're able to generate a little bit more premium. Now the NAV sucks, but that's kind of the trade-off of the yield max style or whatever is, well, the market's down. Hopefully my divs will go up a little bit. And especially like in an April situation, the dividends went up quite a bit. Sometimes not in a small pullback, they might not go up too much, but that's kind of the cushion of a covered call. But covered calls have an inverse cushion on the upside. They have a ceiling that you keep pumping your head into. So the total return swap seems to work opposite. In fact, the total return swap because it doesn't really sell premium. I'm not even really sure how they decide how much money to pay out. I need to study that some more, but if it's just based on total return and the stock's down, the total return swap I would think would lose money. But these funds always pay out something to you, regardless of whether the fund makes or loses money. So, but I think the total return swap, just when they make less money, they pay less money. So they do, so it's just kind of a different dynamic. Yeah, 85. I mean, I knew some of the football players. I mean, I didn't really know them. I mean, but I would go to parties with them and everybody knew him. But for instance, Bosworth dated a girl that was in the same sorority of the girl that I dated, and it later ended up marrying. And she was a Pi Phi, I think they got married. But Bosworth went to he left early and signed and got a $10 million bonus, which is nothing nowadays. But back at the time, it was the highest signing bonus, I think, ever. And went to Seattle and then got hurt. But yeah, that's, the frats and the football players would sometimes have a kind of rough relationship. Lots of times the jocks didn't like the frat boys, and lots of people didn't like the frat boys. But for whatever reason, the OU football team liked our house, and they would come over anytime we had a party, come over and steal all our girls, of course. That's probably part of the reason why they didn't get along. But yeah, one time we had the starting strong safeties, a guy named, I think he was a strong safety, guy named Sonny Brown. And then we had another guy who was our second team quarterback. They got in a fight during one of our parties and were, horse playing. Not a really bad fight, but one of them threw the other one through a plate glass window. We had a plate glass window in our front of our house, and boom, a football player went out the window. And yeah, those were some good times. But yeah, 85, that was a great time to be in college at OU. I mean, I went to every game. I mean, that was a great time to be a Sooner. So it's definitely in my blood. And I'm the third generation of people in my family to go there. And now my kids are both, one kid's graduated and one kid's in his senior year. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Then Bosworth did movies, exactly. But I have pictures somewhere. I need to see if my ex will send me those pictures. I mean, they're in a photo album. Of course she would. She'd take a picture. I mean, we have a really good relationship now. Maybe not 20 years ago when we first got divorced, we didn't have such a good relationship, but now we do. But yeah, I have some great pictures of young Max at a frat party with Bosworth. Back in the day, you didn't have selfie cameras, but they would have somebody going around taking pictures. Anyway, yeah, no, I had some good times back in college. Some great times. Yes, steroids were big and cocaine was big. Our starting quarterback in '87 was a stud, but he got busted. He got busted selling like a lot of coke. I mean, or not a lot, but I don't know. And I guess it wasn't a lot of coke. It's just an ounce, but it seemed like a lot to me because I was in college and that was more coke than I could conceive of. But he got busted by the FBI. And yeah, so lots of cocaine, lots of steroids, for sure. I know it. I'll get those pics. I wonder if my ex watches this show. I bet she does. I'm sure she does. She'll probably say, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But yeah, next time I talk to her, I'm going home over Christmas. I'm going to leave them in the photo album because she keeps all that stuff. That's fine. But I'm going to take pictures of them over Christmas and give them to you guys. I also have a great picture that I do have around here somewhere. In the 2000, the only time I was more excited than 85 was the 2000 national championship. That was an incredible team. We got the new coach. We had Bob Stoops. It was the second year, but there was a game against Nebraska that we needed to win, and if we won it, we went to the Orange Bowl and played for the national championship. Well, we won that game. We dogged Nebraska, and the students, we all charged the field and to tear down the goalpost. And there was these the cops on the ride bicycles. they like put a ring of their bicycles and they were trying to make a stand around the goalpost. It didn't last. Boom, they all booked it, or we ran over. I don't remember what happened. I just remember they were there and they weren't. So anyway, I'm right at the base of the thing, and I'm grabbing it, just rocking it. But then there's younger kids. I'm probably in my mid-30s at this point, but there's younger kids that are up hanging off the goalpost, and one of the kids his feet kept hitting me, and I was ducking down, but we rocked that thing and knocked it out, carried it all the way down the field and out of the stadium. But yeah, that was probably the biggest win in my lifetime. Anyway, there's a picture. It was the Associated Press has a picture of me, and my sister has those pictures. I was on the USA Today the next morning. Anyway, yeah, no, that was probably the best time I've ever had at a football game. Was Oklahoma versus Nebraska in 2000. I mean, that was incredible. But there's been a lot of good times. There has been a lot of good times, and I'll get those picks. OU's had a heck of a year this year. I mean, for a while, in 2000, we had good defense, because you have to have good defense to win the national championship. In fact, our defense was stellar in 2000, and also 2001, 2002, 2003. But then we kind of fell off and turned into an offensive powerhouse. But so we would go places and we could beat everyone in the Big 12, but then we go to a bowl game and just get beat up by somebody because they had just as good of offense as we did, and they could run up and down the field with us. Well, and that happened, and I remember 2018, we had Kyler Murray, who I think is the best quarterback we've ever had. I think he may be the best college quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, Kyler Murray was incredible, definitely the most exciting. But, we went and played Georgia and got in a scoring contest with Georgia, and they ended up scoring last. I mean, we just had absolutely zero defense. I mean, I think we were out ahead of Georgia, but we could not stop those guys. Anyway, but that's changed now. We got rid of our offensive coordinator turned into our head coach. Then he went to USC, which is good, because then we got a good defensive coach, and he's doing a great job. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Dan. Hit like and subscribe. Hey, also don't forget, nothing you hear here is financial advice. Consult. I need to quit saying, how am I going to do that? Consult a licensed financial planner for all your financial planning needs. It's a lot better than getting advice off social media. Social media is good for listening to stories about ball games and stuff, but it's not a great place for, financial planning. Also, don't forget, you can always send me a tip if you like this kind of content at paypal.me/maxconvexity. I just wanted to remember to say that. But like I say, I'd be happy to stick around and answer questions if there are any, but it doesn't. I'm going to make sure I haven't missed any. There's still 36 of you guys talking. Or not 36 of you guys talking. There's 35. So somebody just left. We lost somebody. Oh, no. Anyway, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm going to go make some content. All right, guys. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day, and I'll try to locate those pictures. I'll talk to you later.